Hello, 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 beautiful people. Apologies. I'm waiting on Francis to come. He should be joining us shortly. So hopefully he'll be here soon. So, hello, hello, beautiful people. I hope all of you are having a is today Saturday? I don't even know what day is today. Today is Saturday or Sunday? Today is Saturday. Today is Saturday. Okay, so thank you. I hope you guys have had a good Saturday. I hope all of you are happy and healthy with your loved ones. I know there's been a lot of unrest in the UK, and unfortunately, King Charles has thrown his weight behind not his people, but the communities. And he doesn't mean the white communities. So I hope all of you have. Oh, here's Francis. Hello, Francis. How are you? How are you?
Hi, Paula. How are you?
Did you put your baby to sleep?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, good to go.
Good, good, good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm posting Francis' channel for you guys to go run to subscribe to him. The last time we were together is when we did that live impromptu live. What was it? What was it? That was the
It was King's
Catherine.
coronation ceremony.
No, the trooping the color.
No, sorry. Yeah, it was the trooping of the color. How time flies.
Yes,
Did
yes,
the troop
remember
already?
that was insane because Catherine, the Princess of Wales, Her Royal Highness Catherine, the Princess of Wales, literally broke the internet. I could not get on StreamYard for my life. I mean, the whole thing was crashed. Remember, Francis? I was like, oh my god! And you saved the day by you going live. But here, the system. I mean, talk about breaking the internet just by showing up. Isn't she wonderful?
She always does that, Catherine. We know that. And on that day, of course, there was a lot of anticipation of whether she was going to come on or whether she's going to make an appearance or not. And so she likes to keep us surprised, and boom, she came on and she was so wonderful on that day. We still have memories of her on that
Yes.
Buckingham Palace balcony, giving us a wave. She
Yeah.
always brings back life every time she surfaces, doesn't she?
I love her. I mean, I thought she was I mean, and from what I understand, I don't know if it's true or not. She re-wore a dress, a white dress that she had shown when for the coronation when they were greeting the crowd. She wore this white dress and she got out to greet people, and then she just repurposed it by adding a bow and a different belt. But I mean, she looked so beautiful, and the kids are so grown up, aren't they?
Oh, they are. And you know what? Catherine looks beautiful in everything she wears. You can just give her this shirt or any dress, and Catherine will look amazing in that.
Oh, she's
So, and that's why brands and all of that sell these outfits around the world sell out in minutes every time Catherine wears an outfit.
she's beautiful. She's beautiful.
All the dresses that are made as replicas out of Catherine's dress will all sell out in minutes because she looks amazing in those outfits she does.
Oh, that was a great day. That was a great day. But I mean, I remember I was so frustrated because, Megan said that she wanted to break the internet. And here you have Catherine without saying a word. Broke it.
She did. And you know what? Many people are, because we had these debates. Should she come out now? Isn't she going to overshadow the king's birthday parade? And, but, the king himself wanted Catherine so
Yeah.
much to be there.
Um,
And the reason for that as well is that Catherine brings a different environment every time
oh,
she
yeah.
comes, and the royal family needed that. There was a
Yeah.
lot going on with these anti monarchists standing with their yellow banners, and so there really needed to be somebody who was going to come and shut them down in a special way.
Yeah.
And when Catherine came out, the chanting on the street and the excitement overshadowed, well, it sort of engulfed the anti monarchists, and they lost on that day, hands down.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, but
I
it's
heard this,
always good. Hmm?
Francis. I heard that the anti-monarchists, when Catherine came out, that they just stayed quiet, and then it wasn't until after she passed by that they stopped. Like they out of respect, I heard, but I don't know if it's true that they stopped shouting and stuff like that when she passed by, because at the end of the day, the entire world wanted to show this lady, this proper lady, that they love her, and that that they know that she's going through some really horrible times right now, health wise, but that
Y-
she's loved and cared for, I think.
yes, and you know what? I agree with you actually because at some point I was stood next to the anti-monarchists because when you go, I just wanted to sort of have a bit of a listening into their conversations. What
Oh,
were they really saying? You know, are they really not interested in the monarchy, or these are people who are
I,
just swept across by these growing winds of monarchical changes in other European countries?
yes,
So I
yes, yes.
moved closer to listen in. And there were actually not very many. There were about, if I can count, you can count them actually. It was just literally a little corner in which they were standing, and they had their yellow flags. Of course, they had to get yellow out of all the colors because they wanted to be seen. Otherwise, if they had a
That's
different
why.
color, nobody would have even noticed that they were there. So I stood next to them, and if I think I posted little snippets of videos of me walking around. At some point, I appeared in their video and they said, "God save the king," try and shut them down. But there were not many at all. But when Catherine came riding past in her full glory,
Yeah.
there was that silence. They actually clapped and supported her. They are very happy actually with
Mhm.
how Catherine was coping health wise. So you could see they could sympathize with her. So I think it's just a few of them who have got this sort of unsureness with King Charles,
Yeah.
but on a bigger scale or larger perspective, these are people who would very much join in to support the royal family. Probably, if Catherine and William were, were the king and queen.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hope I'm alive for that coronation, because then I would fly to London for that, because I would love to see Prince William crowned King of England and the United Kingdom. Like that, I would fly over there. That would be something. And also, Catherine brings an air of, it's like the queen. I miss the
Mm,
queen so much. I was watching you and I was like, oh my God, that I miss the queen so much, because she's, I don't know, especially in the last balcony appearance of her. I think she knew it was her last.
yes,
Yeah, it
yes.
was horrible. And people were singing, it's not, to me at least, it's not the same to sing God Save the King to God Save the Queen, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Mm.
because I don't know, the Queen inspired something incredible. That I mean, the Queen was more than an icon. I mean, I think calling her an icon was, as not, because she, to me, and I mean, I was crying when she died, and it's still to this day, people, think of her because she was some sort of beacon stability. People trusted her, that she was always there, and she was unwavering, and she always knew what to say, how to comfort the entire nation and her Commonwealth realms. She wasn't, yeah, I loved her.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
really.
She was brilliant, and you couldn't have said that better than you have. Very many people related to her. This is the only queen, monarch. Most of these people have seen growing
Most of
up.
them have known. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So she was literally there. And the special thing with Queen Elizabeth is that she was here with us for all those years, but we still had something that we didn't know about her. She was very. She would like to surprise us. Say something funny, and she comes out at the right time. She all these things that are going around, the controversies, she likes to stay in her corner and observe and then make those right decisions and judgments. She wouldn't just issue statements that were going to be contradictory. So she did everything right. And I
Yes.
think that is going to be a very big challenge. of course, for King Charles, as we already see, going forward. Uh, but of course, King Charles was a heir to the throne for all of those years. So we also see that the Queen had a huge impact on him. Because this King Charles we are seeing now is not the Prince of Wales that was many years ago. He's now changed. He's very relatable. He's mastered this small talk that the Queen used to have. You could see him mix well with people. So, and all of that is because of the leadership he learned from the Queen herself. And of course, William himself will even be even better because he has grown up being nurtured by two kings now, by the Queen, now his dad, and he's got a very loving, caring, and very sensible, intelligent woman in Catherine, who is also adorable around the world. So what more can we ask for?
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta tell you, and also, you know what, Catherine, people, especially what she has endured with the Sussex Squad, the things that they have said about her, her marriage with William, it has been, I was thinking about that because one of the things that mostly infuriated me about that Netflix thing is not even a documentary. A documentary implies that there's some truth to it. And what
Mm,
Harry and Meghan had was basically a sit down of hate, you know,
mm,
lies and slander. But, and it's interesting because, especially I think episode 5, I couldn't get through that, but I saw number 5 and I almost threw the laptop through my wall, because they were literally calling the Commonwealth, which was the Queen's life's work,
mm,
colonization 2.0 and slavery and everything, when the Commonwealth was completely the opposite. The Commonwealth is nations who voluntarily want to join, and that improves trade, and they have to
mm.
have certain standards of human rights. They can't be in violation of human rights and stuff like that. And the whole purpose is that their poor nations who join the Commonwealth benefit from being partner
Of
in the
this
Commonwealth of
community.
rich nations, because of the trade and all kinds of agreements and everything. So it is. I was actually livid, and why do you think that Harry sat there and allowed the legacy of his grandmother to be trashed by trash people? Because I consider those people who call themselves expert, including Bosie the Boso,
Mm,
trash. Because why do you think he allowed? Because at this point, Francis, he has a voice. He could have said, "No, we're not going there." Why do you
mm.
think he allowed that?
That is something that baffles me to date. And I've talked a lot about it. That was the point I thought. I think this is a Harry that has changed, a Harry that has completely forgotten his roots, a Harry that does not actually um, appreciate uh, his heritage, the royal family, a family that supported him and saw him grow up into that young man he is today. And a young man who has, because of him now, Meghan Markle has become what she is today.
Absolutely.
So,
I just want to make a parenthesis. Francis was a royal guard. So he actually has had encounter. We did a video on Sean where we had, it was so funny the story that he told us. So Francis has actually met royalty because he was. And where were you, Francis? So people can understand that you speak with authority because you have met them. You know what I
oh
mean?
yes, yes, yes. I'm very proud of that, and it's something that I'm going to live with for the rest of my life. Having worked with the royal household in the royal household division, we are talking about this small group within the British Army that looks after royal security, both outside on engagements and in the royal residences. Many of us online will know those as royal palaces. So we are talking about Windsor Castle, Buckingham Palace, the Tower of London, St. James Palace, where now the King Charles lives. And of course, King Charles has lived there since he was the Prince of Wales and still lives there. and all of these other, royal residences, that some of which you may not be aware of, Holyrood, Balmoral, all of those residences, we as the royal household have had access to those at some point, in a
Mm.
capacity, of course, providing security, or um, just being there to create that presence, that, yes, there is a special occasion, or somebody special is going to be in this area, when they see us, the uniforms and all of that. So I've met these royals. I know how great people they are. I know how they have communities at heart. And here in England and abroad, that is why all these charities we hear, mental health charities, domestic violence, homelessness, the ex-servicemen, all of those charities, they like to associate themselves with the royal family because of those values of compassion, love that they have for the society. So these people are great people. And that's why I was very surprised to see Harry leaving the royal family and becoming completely the opposite of the person he was, during his royal days. So it brings me to that point of how then was he unable to tell his wife off uh, for mocking the queen in that very, very rubbish courtesy that she did,
Oh,
knowing that it was a wrong act, knowing that the queen was very, very, she's Her Majesty is very well loved, respected.
that was
Yeah,
such a slap in the face. I swear to
yeah,
God.
and she said nothing. And when I was back in my royal days as a serviceman, the Prince Harry we know was a very loving, very caring. We used to chat with him on engagements. One of those was the London Olympics 2012, yes. And the British Army, we had to be drafted in, including we, the guards. And lucky for us, me as a guardsman, a Queen's Guard at the time, I was placed in the hot spots where royals are going to be visiting to or to look at certain events.
Mm.
So we know that in Windsor, the king loved to watch rowing, and rowing activity was done on this river, which was next to Windsor Castle. So we had set up a tent there, Prince Harry, William walking, and we had a chat with them. But not just that, Prince William used to come down to battalion because he was the colonel in chief of the Irish Guards. So he would come down occasionally to say hello to us on St. Patrick's Day. Catherine, Princess of Wales, would come and put those shamrocks on us, you know. And
Yeah, so people know he was part of the Irish Guards because in case that people ask her, and you were also during their wedding, Prince William's and Catherine's wedding. You were actually when they were at the balcony, you were below
oh
under the
yes,
balcony, right?
yes, yes,
Guarding
yes,
them.
I
So
was I
you know
was
we're,
there.
we're talking proper people here, guys.
Oh yes, absolutely. So I was part of the 50-man team that did the Guard of Honor. Okay, so I wish, because I think on that day most of the video cameras and all of that were mostly capturing the fly past. But I wish there was a camera that zoomed in onto the forecourt and had a look at us. But also before Catherine and William came in from the church, we were lining out in there giving the guard of honor as they came in. But even prior to that, to their wedding, we were doing a lot of rehearsals. And, Prince William, Catherine were hugely involved in those rehearsals. So I know them from a perspective of having worked as a royal guard. And they were my masters, if you'd like to call it. But
They were your
very,
bosses. They were your
very
bosses.
good bosses, absolutely. And if there is anything I can do right now to give back to the royal family for what they have done for me, as a person with the skill sets I have, the career I'm having now, how I'm respected in my work right now, the housing opportunities I'm having access to here as an ex-serviceman, because we are very respected here and treated very well, because of being giving that service to the Queen. So anybody who goes out there and tarnishes the image of the royal family and Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, and those activities that do not paint a good image of the royal family, I'm not happy, and I will never be happy with that.
Yeah, but why? Because you, for example, you told me when we did that live that there was always a difference though between Harry and William. That Prince William was more concerned about you guys. He would always ask you how you were doing, whereas Harry never did that. So there's like a little marked difference because it kind of shows that from the very beginning, Prince William always made it about other people. Whereas
Yeah.
Harry, he was always come and tell you about himself and what he'd been doing, but he never asked you, "How are you doing, France?" But where Francis, but Prince William would always come and inquire how you guys were. And you told me an anecdote about after the wedding that he said they said thank you or something like that to you guys.
Yeah, Prince William. He's very humble. You know, the William you see out in public, greeting people, his hands always here like that. He's coming out of the car. He's making himself smart to appear, very responsible. Whether he's stepping out with Catherine and you see him giving Catherine a hand with those kids, especially when they were still growing up. Give Catherine a hand. She gets out of the van. She hands over the kid, the little Charlotte, to Catherine. She is very helpful, very kind. William is, and whatever you see in William right now out on engagements is the same William in the palace, the same William speaking to us as soldiers. Because, I mean, we as king's guards or queen's guards we were at the time, being in there, I would sit here and say, right, he was different. Actually, he was, yeah, in there and all of that. And then you saw a different person outside. But no, William still exudes the same sort of personality he exudes when he's in that palace and outside. So even whenever we were able to encounter or see them come, speak to us as soldiers at the time, he would be more drawn to asking us how we are feeling. He was very much aware of the job we do. You guys, thank you so much. You've done a fantastic job today. I don't know if he said that he was more caring to us because he was the canon in chief of the Irish Guards. So I don't know whether Prince Harry did the same to the regiment. He was a canon too, the Welsh Guards and all of that, and the Royal Marines. But from a perspective of them stepping out with William at the same time, coming to us in the tent we could relate more with William, and you could see that he gave us more time. Okay,
Yeah.
so
But what do you think? Well, okay, what do you think of like um why do you think Harry now hates because there's no other way to put it. He really hates his family. Because
mm,
people say, "Oh no, he doesn't. He's manipulated." But I always judge people on their actions and not on
mm,
the words. Or he meant to say this. Oh no, he said this, but he actually meant to say that. I hate it when people do that because if I want to say something, I say it. I don't say something I don't. Like you don't have to read third or four. Guess what they're saying. I don't know why people are so intent on not reading the words that these people hear, or they don't want to understand the words that these people are saying, because Harry with his actions is showing that he truly envies or hates his family, or I don't know. I mean, why do you think that is?
yeah, and I think there is, and this is something I've always thought. To me, I think there is an aspect of a Harry who was somehow manipulated to think that his family doesn't like him. He is a spare. He's always going to walk in the shadows of Prince William. Uh, there must be somebody, whether that's Meghan, who told him that, look, you're more capable of becoming very successful, bigger a brand when you're outside of the royal family than when you are. And if they loved you so much, they would have done such and such for you. They wouldn't have rolled the red carpet down for your brother's wife, and they don't roll down the red carpet for me. Meghan, saying that to Prince Harry. So I'm thinking that the Harry we are seeing is a Harry who was probably manipulated and made to feel that, or to think that his family didn't like him. And this really happens because there are to some people, because in relationships, especially if somebody is very insecure of somebody else or envious of somebody else, they always try to find a way of go running away, but taking away the person they love. And then they must give a valid reason to that somebody for them taking them away. So for Meghan taking Prince Harry away from the royal family, because I will say she did, 6 months just after her marrying into the royal family, Prince Harry vanishes. He goes away.
Yeah.
And this is a Harry who had lived in the royal family, grown up there, a Harry who loved to wear his uniform, his medals. He was a patron to so many charities. He enjoyed doing his work. He loved the Queen. They were very, very good friends. Prince Harry's stand in the royal family was very, very good, because at some point he was about to become the most popular royal, even more popular than the Queen himself. I mean, Queen herself. So he was very happy, he was very loved. But for him to walk away in 6 months after meeting the love of his, well, the love of his life, as he calls her, something must have really happened. Okay. So I think there's a bit of manipulation here. And he was made to think his family is treating him bad, they don't love him. And now we are seeing a Prince Harry who has those messages of your family doesn't love you, they didn't want you, so why should you care about them? And so he was, whether it's also being blindsided, I don't know. But you could say that Harry doesn't like his family, because, and people are right to say that, because if he really did, he would be standing up against Meghan and saying, right, listen, nobody mocks the Queen in the way you did. Prince Harry would be checking in with his father, with his family. He would be coming back his to UK very often and bringing those kids to see their grandfather. Okay, but he does none of that. The king hasn't seen those kids, God knows, since when. And we see those traits in somebody who doesn't love their family. Because if, Paula, you loved your family, you'd be looking forward to go back every day, every time you're in
Yeah.
touch. King's birthday parades, you would be very keen to send those birthday messages in public. Happy birthday, to my dad, to the king. I love you so much. Happy birthday to. He does none of that. Okay. So people are right to say that he doesn't like his family anymore.
Yeah, but the
And
thing is, for example, I understand what you're saying that Megan made up, but you know what? A lot of people say that Megan brainwashed him, and it's just my view that
mm,
he appealed. Megan came, he clearly Googled Harry. She
mm,
saw his weaknesses and saw that he had a lot of resentment, because we've heard spare that he had resentment, because this is a man who sat thinking.
mm,
He actually put it in the book that William got two sausages and he only got one.
mm, mm,
You know what I mean? So we're talking resentment from when he was a child. This man was keeping score. And in Megan, he found somebody who would be an ally and who would actually encourage that hatred, that envy. If there was envy, little envy, Meghan Markle made sure that he said, you know what, buddy, your envy is justified. It's not envy. You're right. You are the big man. You should be like the heir to the throne, not William.
mm,
Like you are the one who's better than William. They hate you because they envy you, because we heard
mm,
say that Meghan was envied or whatever because she was doing so fantastically well in Australia, and we know that that is not the case, right? So it is. I think that Meghan stroked that fire that was
mm,
already there, because
mm,
I know that we may not like our family sometimes, but to go to the point that he's gone, because we can clearly see, and you know what I think it's happening and we're witnessing right now, Francis, that especially with the CBS thing, we're
mm,
witnessing. You saw the body language; that was brutal.
mm, 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 mm,
We're witnessing a man sitting there who has realized that he screwed up, and that
mm,
his family told him so. This is
mm,
the world is witnessing a big "we told you so" by the royal family, and a man who is so arrogant that he much rather die and be miserable than to admit that he screwed up. But his body language was atrocious. So to me, the only reason why they haven't officially divorced is because Harry's too arrogant and Meghan still needs him, because the only way that Meghan was able to get the CBS is having Harry there, because on her own they refused to give it to her. So what do you I
you're
I
very
don't
right.
understand.
You're very right, and I think because we know initially there was um, there was this belief that Prince William warned Harry of Meghan Markle, you know, and it's not the warning of right. This woman is this and that. Don't get involved with her. But as a sensible brother, Prince William is okay. We know William's sense of judgment and thinking through decisions before he takes actions. We know with those conversations came out that Prince William said to Harry, "Why the rush? Why don't you take your time to fully understand who this woman is truly?" Okay,
Get to
and
know her.
yeah, and then not just William, but also the Queen herself at some point,
Yeah.
because we had these controversies of Meghan Markle and her father. She's not in touch with her family. Her father, the family is sort of disunited. Meghan's family at the time, the royal family became aware of all of that because before Meghan heavily got involved with Prince Harry, and these conversations were going on behind the scenes. We had of the Queen, Prince William, saying, "Take your time, take your time." In fact, the Queen was very worried of this relationship of Meghan Markle's situation with her family affecting the royal family, or the royal family getting involved with all of that. She didn't want that to happen. So that advice came in for William, for Harry. I mean, it came in for Harry from William, that take your time, don't rush, take your time to really understand her. Prince Harry was either very excited and didn't take that advice in, and I think maybe Harry could have shared all of these conversations with maybe Meghan, that they are telling me not to do this, not to get involved with you because this and that. And I think that could have also been the reason why then at some point we see Meghan Markle as sort of having that sort of beef or dislike for Harry, I mean for William at the time, probably because Harry told her that, my brother wants me to take my time and not rush into this. So Prince Harry doesn't listen and goes forward. The Queen, of course, can't do anything. If Harry wants to marry his girlfriend, then let him marry her. They can only advise him. And they know that Prince Harry and the mental health issues, if he doesn't get what he wants, that would take a toll on him. So they let him be. And now that Harry's in that situation, okay, he's probably sitting there thinking, why, if I call for divorce, if I leave this wife, people will say, you see, we warned you, we told you
What an
not to do
expensive
this.
mistake, 32
Yeah,
million pounds. What an
yeah,
expensive
it
mistake
was. Yeah. So
for the UK people.
yeah, it was all for the UK people because that's taxpayers. So what Prince Harry right now is doing, I think, is lying in his bed. When you make your bed, you lie in it. So he's lying in it, and he's gone too far that it has become very complicated. There are children involved. There are so many businesses. We see all these Netflix projects they've signed up
And they
together as
postponed
a
the projects. Did
unit.
you hear that, Francis? They postponed all the projects.
Exactly. So there's a lot involved. So if Harry pulls out, all of that comes down collapsing. He's probably worried of not seeing his children if he pulls out of this relationship. So it's gone so far
What?
that he just has to lie in it and just pray that something, a miracle, works out one day, and Meghan wakes up and say, Harry, I don't want you anymore, you go. you know
You think he's trying to
which
do
will
that?
not
He just
happen
do that?
anytime soon, because Meghan also feeds off Harry. Without Harry,
Yeah,
Meghan is nothing.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
all these introductions we see when they step out is the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex. So imagine if Prince Harry walks away and that Duchess of Sussex disappears off Meghan, she will be a nobody. So all
Yeah,
she has
she
to do
can,
is
she can
continue
tour.
feeding Harry with, they don't like you, they do this, and putting Harry under her belt and under her firm grip, and keep her with keep her with with her keep him with herself for as long as she can. Okay.
Yeah, because I don't see her. You know what? She's not getting interviews on her own. You know,
Mm,
when she said in the latest thing that she did with CBS that she's barely scraped the barrel with her
mm,
trauma in the royal family, that was twofold. First, well, threefold. First, to remind Harry that she has a lot of stuff that she can still make up about the royal family,
mm,
right? Number two, because that was a dig at the royal family that you guys made me suffer, and I'm doubling down.
mm,
Third, it was for Piers Morgan, who didn't believe her. So she's doubling down in that lie. And actually,
mm,
there's four, to advertise that she has
mm,
more stuff to tell. If somebody can please give her an interview so she can detail, that she can finish scratching the surface, because
mm,
that was what she said. That was a dig. I barely scratched the surface. That was for maybe somebody out there say, wait a minute, we'll give you an interview, Megan. We'll give you an interview. What else haven't you told on the 6 Netflix episodes, on the 90 minutes with Oprah, on the 13 interviews you've done so far? What else is there left for you to do if you have barely scratched the surface, in spite of the fact that you were only there, you only did 72 engagements, and you didn't really, and out of the 11 months after she married, that she was a royal, she spent 7 of those months away taking trips. Okay.
mm, mm,
So how
mm,
much more is there to scratch the surface? Because when she said that, that was advertising. Can somebody please hire me or grant me an interview? Because I have a lot more to tell you.
and they
That's
know.
my take on it. That's my take on it.
You're very right. You're very right, because they know the way they have built their brand is on that sort of content, that sort of material. Throwing the royal family under the bus. Being controversial in that sense, because they know this is what will bring sympathy from people and the public. So they've built their brand around sympathy. But you can only do that up to a certain point. They are soon going to run dry. And when they start running dry, they will start, companies will start being very uninterested. And the thing is, when they host them and they say whatever they say on those interviews, It's not that people are very interested in hearing those things, but these companies that are hosting them want to just expose them more to the people. But wow, look at, these two former royals. They are still taking a dig at the royal family. It's not that everybody enjoy listening to what they say. It's the way the social media people who host them want to expose them further. Okay. But to Harry and Meghan, I think the biggest problem with them as well is not being grateful. Okay, not being
Yeah,
grateful.
gratitude, gratitude.
Gratitude is always going to be a very big thing if one is to succeed. Okay, so Meghan comes into the royal family. Okay, uh, the king helps, pull out the day for her by walking her down the aisle, where there was a lot of controversy. The dad was not there to walk her, and there was a lot going on. So much stuff behind the scenes that other people didn't know that were going on. Like King Charles, because of the compassion, the love, okay, and the Queen step in to save the day and to welcome her and say, right, listen, regardless of your background, the problems and issues you have, we still welcome you like we have welcomed everybody into the
And
royal
we're going to give you
household.
an opportunity to step up and do right
Yeah,
and
okay.
erase your past.
Yes. So she comes in, they know she has always spoken about equality, education, leadership. So they say, right, okay, she's a young woman, she's coming, she's educated. Let her give her the opportunity to make a difference in the world. So they place her and Prince Harry in charge of the Commonwealth. Okay. Look what she did when she was placed there. She instead wanted to come across as even being bigger than the
And then,
queen. Then she wants to turn these engagements into monetary projects where she is paid to go out to Australia, New Zealand, Canada. She's asking questions to Harry. Are we being paid for this engagement? No, this is part of the royal household service. We are just, giving back to the community. We are supporting communities. There's no pay that comes with this. Really? How? We have so much potential to make money out of this. So I think we see her starting those conversations, small talks in Harry's mind, that we can become big out there. We can go. I look, I've studied international relations. You can write so many projects and succeed. So her not being grateful for being given that opportunity to come and serve on a larger scale is one of Meghan's downfall. And of course she takes Prince Harry with her. And the other thing we see is that she has blown that opportunity of becoming one of the most positive and influential people in the world, because she would have been able to achieve that with the royal family if she stayed there. But instead, she used her education and her acting and cunning ways to fight against an institution that made her that she was today. And that's why we can't see them moving anywhere forward in more meaningful ways than they would have been had they stayed with the royal family.
no, I agree. And the thing is with her, she never intended on staying in the royal family. She just did. First of all, I think that Megan was shocked she managed to get the engagement. She knew that time was against her.
Mm,
She knew that time was her enemy, so she needed to marry quickly, which is why they moved Princess Eugenie's wedding later that year, because it was Princess Eugenie who was supposed to be married there. They actually used their rehearsals for Princess Eugenie on Harry, because they said it's because his ranks higher than Princess Eugenie. You know very well that that doesn't work like that in
it
the royal.
doesn't.
If you
Mm,
have already set a date or something like that, it's you go through with it. And and I'm pretty sure that the queen had given permission, and the queen thought that they were going to get married in 2019, but there
mm,
was no way. Or Rachel Meghan Markle knew that it was just a matter of time before we found out who she was, and she knew that that would be over. That's just
mm,
my, which is
yeah.
why and it's just my take on this too. I do, guys. I know you keep asking about the Earl of Pembroke, whether he is Prince Harry's father. neither Francis nor I know the answer to that. You know,
Mm,
there's a lot of similarities, but and if you want, we're gonna do a video about that. But we don't know. We don't know. People say James Hewitt was his father. Some other people saying that Earl of Pembroke. We don't know if Charles is his father. We don't know any of that. Like the royal family say that Charles is his father because he's in the line of succession and he's recognized as King Charles' son. So
mm,
so
mm.
for legal reasons, we can say anything more. So
Absolutely, absolutely. We can't comment on that any
yeah, yeah,
further.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So, but
and
there was
mhm,
say like something like that. Like for example, like Harry and Meghan. She had to marry him right away. This is why they pushed Eugenie's wedding further down, because my belief is that she claimed that she was pregnant, and then of course she lost the baby, and then of course she announced that she's pregnant in Eugenie's wedding. I mean, all of these things. And Francis, I have serious doubt that Meghan Markle birthed those children. I do believe the children exist. I don't believe she gave birth to them because there's just too many things that are not right, because you can see that. I was actually reading articles today about who birthed the Archie, at least, right?
mm,
I couldn't get, I mean, no doctor has come forth, and you know that it is part of the law that in order for the child to be included in the
the
line of
line of
succession,
succession. Yeah.
the details have to be public. This is why we've
Mm,
seen the easel. Even the queen put out the easel saying,
mm,
give birth, these are the doctors, because there can be no doubt in the public's mind that the child meets the legal requirements to be in the line of succession. Even
mm,
that, they did exceptions for Harry and Meghan Markle. They broke the law for Harry and Meghan Markle. I have requested 7 times a copy of the birth certificate of Meghan's daughter, and each time I've even done videos showing the answers. Each time I get an answer from California birth records, telling me that there's
no,
absolutely no record
no
of
record.
that
Yeah.
child being born with those details. And they urge
Mm,
me to present documents or go to Santa Barbara, because the child is supposed to be 3 years of age. By law, the child should be in the main records in California, and she's not. And even the eighth birth certificate, that they said that they weren't going to charge me the $43 that they charge, just to resubmit. So even in that regards, which is incredibly, it's the only time that the royal family got wrong the time of birth, place of birth, and we've seen the inconsistencies. Megan said in Oprah that she didn't want to have the photographers out at the Portland hospital because she didn't want to block the entrance to the emergency room. We know that the Portland hospital has no emergency room. In fact, the Portland hospital is not considered an emergency room place, and if there's an emergency, they send the patient to an
mm,
NHS hospital, which actually has an emergency room. Then Harry talking about secret elevators. The Portland hospital does not have secret elevators, not even for I mean, everything is a mess. But even then, the royal family has compromised itself trying
mm,
to cover up for these two idiots. And that is
mm,
what really bothers me, because to
mm.
this day, they're still endorsing them. They're still on the royal website. Their commercial private website is
It's
advertised on the
and
royal
yeah, on
website.
the Royal Family website, yeah, there is a link to that. That's something that is very, very perturbing because they are not even representing the king, in any way or any capacity in the United States. Yet on the website, it's on there that Meghan and Harry, they are, representing the queen and the king, the monarch abroad and, in the United States where they are, but they are not. Okay. And Meghan and Harry have given people all the reasons to question the birth of those children, you know, because first and foremost, those children have become very invisible.
Yeah,
Okay.
isolated.
They haven't brought them to see the king. The grandfather. Every parent would be very proud and would always be willing to take the kids to their grandparents. But not Meghan Markle and not Prince Harry are, enthusiastic about that. So really, there must be something or a clause somewhere that stops them from even taking those kids out of the United States. You know, looking at their actions and how they've kept these kids away from. I mean, we've seen the same photo day and night being shared for uh, Lilibet's birthday. that photo of her sat there with a dress and she's literally in that dress. That's the same photo we've seen Lily from first year to the third year, the second year she celebrated last time. There's no record of seeing these kids out, family time, proper family time photographs. You know how Catherine and William post those photos on social media and say, right, happy birthday to George, the family photos every now and then. That very transparent family and, things that parents do to children that are theirs, we don't see all of this happen. Okay. with
I just
with
love having you
Meghan and
here.
Harry. Yeah. And that is leading people to ask all of these questions. The other thing is Meghan Markle, we know how much she likes being in the headlines. She likes to take those moments. So she would give up every opportunity to stand on the hospital steps and hold a baby and have the pictures taken like we see Catherine and, doing at the birth of, her children. So surely if this was a normal birth, if it was these children were there, we could have seen Meghan Markle embrace those opportunities to take these photos at birth, holding the baby right outside, the hospital. We don't see any of those. In fact, there is an interview which was here in UK somewhere, and somebody said that they presented a baby in Archie who was already teething, at some
Oh yeah,
point.
that there was an article in the Daily Mail
Yes,
there was an article in the Daily Mail that they said that that the what's his name? This very what's his name? He's very old. He's an older gentleman. He's a photographer. They used him from everything. He said that by the time that they were informed, Archie was teething. And I just want to
yeah.
post this to people, Francis. I just want to show this to people. Do you think Meghan Markle, being the narcissistic cow that she is, that she would miss an opportunity to have be here like Catherine is, with the world eyes on her, with all these photographers looking at her, picturing her with her blown hair and everything? Do you think that she would have missed this opportunity? And not
She
only that, to copy
wouldn't.
Princess Diana, because we know that this woman's stalking Princess Diana.
She wouldn't. She wouldn't. And that's why I say to you that, who is Meghan Markle to give up that opportunity to stand there like we usually see Catherine do? You've shared this perfect photo here. This is exactly what Meghan Markle would have grabbed with both hands if really the processes of giving birth to those children were the normal processes and the right processes, and it was herself. But we see none of that. We just see a Meghan Markle later on presenting this child in Archie, and with Lilibet we haven't seen anything like that. And I think that is the reason why the last time they came here and brought Lilibet to see the Queen, and that photo that has never, in the papers, of course, it was written the Queen said nobody should ever share that photo of her with Lilibet.
Mhm.
Okay, so and I think this could probably have been Meghan Markle and Harry going through those newspapers and their PR to push stories like that to try and cover them for the reason why that photo will never be seen. Okay, but I think the Queen herself could not actually hug or be in a photo of a child that she's not actually very sure of, if so
Well, I don't
these
know if you know this.
questions.
I don't know if you know this. Do you remember that Harry is, well, you know, Harry suing the government
For the
for this.
police security. Yeah.
Do you remember that the judge also said that he refuted? Remember that he refuted it and said, no, you can't do it. And he gave his reasons. He gave a huge, long judgment, and he gave. And I did a video because I don't understand why people are not talking more about this. He
Hmm.
gave a detailed list of all the times that Harry had been to the UK and when he had the family with him.
Hmm.
One of them, and the judge says that when you apply This is in 2020. This is when the Queen died. The year the Queen died, 2022.
20, yeah, 22
In
years.
2002.
Just
Yeah,
after the Platinum Jubilee,
the
yeah?
Jubilee. The judge is detailing. In June, you wanted to come here, you did this, you went to the wellness, and blah 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 blah. And then in September of 2022, you applied to have your children come for the to get security because you wanted to bring your children back to the UK for the first time.
Time.
The judge says it
So
there, and the judge says that Harry applied in September. So how can Lily have been
been
in
here before, yeah.
at Frogmore Cottage for her birthday if the judge is saying there in September of that year you applied to bring your kids back to the UK for the first time, and then the Queen died, of course, so why I did a video and nobody picked on it, and I done a video, and that
Mm,
was quite a good video because I highlighted that entire paragraph that in
you did.
September 2022 the judge is saying you, Prince Harry, applied or let
To
us
bring your
know your
kids for the
intentions.
first time. And here you claim, Lilibet, it came to see the Queen, and there's that photograph. You remember that story that the photograph will never be released of
Yeah,
Lilibet and the Queen. But this is my belief. I don't think those kids have ever even come here. First and foremost, there's a lot of controversy surrounding the birth of those kids, and we know Meghan Markle likes to be the center. She likes to take, you know, she likes to be seen as, as she's a royal. She would make use of these opportunities to present these things right. Listen, I have a royal baby here. These are the kids. They were born royal. But we see none of that. And surely, I think Meghan knows that, probably if she did, okay, she would have, because there must have been some sort of phrases in those contracts of having those kids somewhere that you can't take them out, you can't do this, you can't present those kids anywhere, because otherwise, if those kids were there and they were theirs for sure, Meghan Markle would have already presented that proof. She would have presented those certificates. She wants to be seen as this royal wife who has had royal kids. Okay. But again, they bring these controversies onto themselves because of their actions. If they want people to start changing their narratives, they need to start changing the way they behave. Bring those kids to see the king. Okay, here first and foremost. Secondly, we have all these reunion days in the summer period. Now we have the royals, the young ones meet at Balmoral, Sandringham, you know, this is chance for the royal children to play with their nephews, their nieces, to get to know each other. Meghan and Harry haven't brought their kids. So for sure, if Meghan wanted those kids to have strong royal roots, she would have made use of these gatherings, brought those children back, mixed with the royals, with an opportunity to maybe even have a photograph taken. But she can't because probably these kids have certain laws that were attached to their birth.
yeah, and that's
So,
terrible, Francis, because I was thinking about that. They count on the fact that the Queen is not going to come out and say, "No, I actually have never met that child." I don't know.
mm,
They know that the Queen will never come out, and people give the Queen don't understand that the Queen actually had thick skin because she was very confident in who she was. She didn't react. You know what? The Queen didn't want to do what was popular. The Queen did what was right, even though if she was criticized. And then eventually people would give her, they would say she was right,
mm,
and
mm,
we're glad that she was the calm voice among all this thing. And she did what was right. She was a Christian woman. She loved church. She was a family woman. I mean, Harry's depriving his children of the same upbringing around his cousins, his uncles, whatever it was, even his childhood friends, he's depriving them of that. Those children
and
are being isolated,
they
from
are. They are, and I think this is very selfish of Meghan and Harry to do that because they are not securing those kids' future. Okay, so the right thing to have done is to bring those children here, get used to seeing their nephews, their nieces. They grow up with the Georges, the likes of Charlotte, Louis. They play, they get known here, and secure their future. But they are not, they haven't connected at all with their young ones here. They haven't, there is still a lot of controversy surrounding, those kids themselves and the royal family. The king has never met them. Can you imagine a situation when William becomes the king?
Oh,
Do you
oh,
think he will keep those
bye,
kids on that
bye,
register
William.
or on that line of succession? I
I
doubt
think
he.
William is gonna clean
Yeah.
house. I think William is gonna clean
Yeah.
house.
So they are wasting this opportunity to start, acting, when King Charles is here, because King Charles has a little been a bit soft with these two, and we know that he's a father, so he's handling this issue from a perspective of a father who knows, you know who knows his son, and what this son could turn out to be if such and such has not been handled very carefully. And the king knows that stripping them of their royal titles at this time would send Prince Harry's mental health through the roof and all of that. So King Charles is being very careful on how he's handling this situation of Prince Harry. He doesn't want to come across as this very ferocious dad, and who has literally just abandoned and thrown this family out of the window and stripped him of everything. So he's living that sort of, is giving Harry something to start to be feeding on, to be making a bit of money to survive. But imagine Prince William
It is.
becoming the king and how tables can turn. Okay, and how those kids would probably be stripped off that line of succession, because we know behind the scenes that William has been very tough with with Harry in terms of decisions on whether he's coming to attend events like the birthday parade, where he's gonna sit, for example, for the king's coronation and all of that. He was supposedly very active in putting those boundaries, where Harry can't go and where he can go. So imagine William becoming king right now. I think this will be game over for Prince Harry.
I hope so, because what we're witnessing, Francis, the longer Harry and Meghan are allowed, because my beef, I don't care, they're two idiots. They're
Mm,
two idiots. My problem is that these two idiots are allowed to continue like this. Are allowed, the king could issue a letters patent saying that Harry cannot no longer you can only use his royal titles for royal engagements. And that's game over. He doesn't have to take the titles away, but he can say he can only use all of his royal titles for royal engagements. And if it's not for royal engagements, he should be known as Henry Albert Charles David Sussex, because apparently they want to be called Sussex. That's what
Sussex,
Meghan
yeah.
Harry said. Yeah. So
Mm,
he can turn him into a private citizen and issue a letters patent, which is the absolute prerogative of the monarch. The monarch is the fount of all royal, and please guys, I make a difference between peerage and royal peerages. This is why you don't see a royal duke in the House of Lords, because those are honorary titles bestowed by the monarch, and the monarch can bestow, revoke, limit. Like the king who limited the Duke of Edinburgh to only when he dies, the dukedom doesn't pass on to his kid. Like
mm.
so because the monarch is the fount of all, and I specify royal titles, styles, and dignities. This is even the parliament, because I know many people sent parliamentary petitions to parliament, and parliament responded and said we can't do anything about it because all royal titles, styles, and dignities fall under the queen's. They at the time it
The
was Her
kings,
Majesty
yeah.
the Queen at the time. When they did those things, and they said it's up to Her Majesty the Queen. Parliament has responded because those are royal titles, and the monarch is the fount, is the
Mm,
fountain of all of those. And
mm.
this is why we're having that. But I understand why Charles won't do it. But the problem is that the longer these people are allowed to
The
carry
more they're
on,
gonna take advantage, yeah, of
no,
that,
but
yeah.
they ridicule that, they diminish the prestige of the monarchy.
The
Now they're
monarchy,
going to Colombia. Well, not really, because Colombia wants to rescind the invitation, because it's incredible what Meghan Markle is asking for. She wants the presidential airplane to come and get her and Harry. She wants Colombia to pay for 22 staff, and she doesn't want to stay in one of the government houses. They're beautiful, by the way, and secured.
mm,
She
mm.
wants a presidential suite, and she wants the Colombian government to pay for everything. I mean, this woman is insane, and now they do things so publicly, Francis, that then they don't know how to back down.
Exactly, and what's so painful is that these are countries that are struggling economically. And so the money that would have been into vital aspects of those economies is being spent on, Meghan Harry visiting. Look at Nigeria. Okay, there's a
Oh,
lot
that
of,
was terrible. What did you
there's
think of
a,
that
yeah,
Nigeria thing?
yeah. It was a very wrong thing to,
They said HRH, right? They called them
yeah,
HRH. Harry
yeah, yeah.
inspected the military.
Oh yes, inspected the guard of honor there. For these are, so this was like a mini royal, pseudo royal visit, and that's wrong because they can't do anything like that because they are not working royals anymore. They are not representing the king, in any capacity. And there was a statement issued here that Meghan, Harry, and Nigeria, and that statement came from the embassy of UK in Nigeria. So this would have been the ambassador. These are His Majesty the King's representative issued a
Yes.
statement in Nigeria saying Meghan Harry are here in Nigeria for their own personal businesses. They are not representing the King or United Kingdom in any capacity of royals. And the next thing we see, they are being introduced as the Duke and Duchess of
Their
Sussex.
royal
Yeah,
highnesses.
yeah, highnesses. And then we see them,
And they were banned
Prince
from using
Harry, yeah,
those. That's
band singing, God Save the King. And, they are inspecting the guard of honor. Prince Harry walking the red carpet, like Prince William would have done if he went out as on these visits. And the big question is, why do they even want to do that? After all, they never wanted to be working royals. So why are they going there and still acting as if they are royals? So those inconsistencies is what is hurting people. And the royal family here not actually tightening up a bit more, to try and stop them from using these titles, and because they are just tarnishing the image of the royal family. Every time Meghan steps on that podium and goes in those controversies and goes in the media for all the wrong reasons all the time, it is the image of the royal family that is being tarnished because she's a Duchess of Sussex.
yeah.
Okay, so the king, the royal family needs to do something, and I think they don't need to do a lot all at once. The royal family needs to start taking baby steps. Start with stripping them off the royal family website. Okay, so start
Mhm.
with that. Just leave them with their titles, for now, and just strip them off the royal family website. Okay,
Just remove them.
yeah,
But
let
even the
people wake
title
up one morning and Meghan and Harry have vanished off the royal family website.
website, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
And then like they don't have to remove the titles. The king can limit
no,
and say, you
no,
know what, you
can
can only
limit.
use them for royal engagements. That's it. He's not
Yeah,
stripping them of the titles. He's saying
no,
you can
no.
only use them for royal engagements. And since we know that they're not working royals, they can never use them.
Exactly. Start with those baby steps. Strip them off the royal family website. Stop attaching that sussex.com link on the royal family website,
Yeah.
because we see that website is being seen by tons and tons of people around the
Millions.
world.
Millions.
Yeah, so it's more like, the royal family is still advertising that this bunch of people who are no longer actually working for the royal family or for the UK government and the Commonwealth. Okay, so they need that space of Meghan and Harry. That royal family website should be dedicated to somebody else who is doing the work. Okay, so strip them off the royal family website And then later on, as people start getting used to then not seeing Meghan and Harry, then even if you strip them off those royal titles, nobody will know behind the scenes. Nobody can check that on the website because they've already been taken off the website. Then behind the scenes start enforcing these other steps of, right, don't use those titles anymore, because if you do this, we're going to do such and such a thing to you. But there
Mhm.
needs to be some sort of action. Until that is done, we are going to see a Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, who are going to build their own small version of the royal family, start going out on these royal, pseudo royal trips, and look at themselves as the modern royals who are fighting for equality, emancipation, and you know, um, leadership, just playing on those principles. Everybody knows that, oh, these principles look good if we hide ourselves behind them, until the royal family stops them from utilizing those images. They are going to be going to so many other countries, and they've done that with Nigeria. They've seen nothing has been done to them. Now Colombia is lining up. Okay, and who knows where they will go after Colombia, and we're still going to see them being presented as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex,
The Royal Highnesses.
the Royal Highnesses, and allegedly the King, the royal family, were not pleased at all with that Nigeria trip. They were not,
But they still
allegedly.
didn't say anything. They still, they didn't issue a statement or anything, and they should have, because, people are going to treat them now that Nigeria treated them like that, and there's no pushback from the palace. Then the other, and it's funny because it's something that is terrible. I just wanted to point out, Francis, that this is the picture that is supposed to be Lilibet's first birthday. That's supposed to be in England, which
Mm,
we know it wasn't, because that couch, Meghan Markle. I don't know if you know this couch. This couch was
yes,
with her at the TIG when she was in Canada. And she
yes.
left that in Canada. She didn't bring it to Frogmore. She left that in Canada. So but then she brought it from Canada to California where they are. And this is the same couch. So this is the traveling couch that they brought from California in June, so it could be in the picture with the little boy Archie. Well, and the queen is supposed to be there, because supposedly the queen was at the birthday and they had a picture with the queen. But this is
Mm.
supposed to be a Frogmore cottage. That was not a Frogmore cottage.
It wasn't. There's a lot of editing here, and when we talk about, you see how the Sussex squads jumped onto Catherine with that edited photograph, that was released, and they jumped onto it and made it appear like it was a big scene and all of that stuff. Meghan and Harry, looking at these photographs, for me, I would say they are the king and queen of editing these photographs and AI and all, because all of these things are just brought into place, you know. But it is very. Somebody in the comments said there that King Charles would get his popularity boosted if he did something about Prince Harry. And that was absolutely right, very, very right in saying that, because I think people are sort of not looking at people's reactions and how they look at Prince Harry, Meghan Markle here in the UK. They are not happy with how this issue of Meghan and Harry is being handled. They think that the royal family should have been a little bit more firmer on these two. Those royal titles, gone completely off the royal family website. People are happy to come on events without Meghan and Harry being present. I think you saw last time I did that
Yeah,
walkabout
yeah,
interview,
yeah, yeah.
and I asked these two ladies about what they felt about Meghan Markle and Harry not being there for the King's birthday parade, and they were like, "Oh, we are so happy, we're so excited. Let them stay
They're
where they
poison.
are." Yeah. So people have these feelings that the royal family hasn't done much to restrict these two from the campaigns they have gone on with to sort of tarnish the image of the royal family. And if King Charles takes that stand now and says, right, this is now going to be the new way of looking at Meghan and Harry, titles no, off the royal family website, the popularity of King Charles will just skyrocket. They will
Yeah,
start looking at him as a strong,
do you remember that time? We all went and did a live because they were off the website for about 20 minutes or
20
so.
minutes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I ran and I did a live because I was like, "Oh my God, I almost like King Charles." I said I take it all back. I said I like King Charles now. He's showing strength. Then when
Yeah.
I'm talking, I'm starting to get like, "Oh no,
Oh,
they're
they are
not going." By
bad.
the way, I just want to say something to you, Francis, because the Sidlett twins, their father, they're YouTubers, and their father has been working as a professional photographer. He even testifies on like testimony and courts and stuff like that about photos and stuff like that, right? He said that this entire photo, this is supposed to be Lily's birthday at Frogmore Cottage, right? When they were back in June at Frogmore Cottage. He's already debunked this. He
Hmm.
said that this is absolutely photoshopped. And he said,
Hmm.
actually, if you want an expert, he is a forensic, I think it's something like that. It's called
Expert.
something about forensic expert about photos that he's called to testify in court. And he's done this for over 40 years. So this gentleman who's an expert has debunked this photo. And
Hmm.
I was happy. I was happy. The entire world. And all he got was very positive feedback from this. Kathleen, you have to go to YouTube to join Francis. By the way, guys, the Francis link has been on the entire video, and I've been showing you his channel. So I assume that when we end this live, he'll have over 2,000 more people, and you're going to be watching all of his videos.
Please, please do. Thank you so much for that shout out. For some
Are
reason,
you kidding? Are you
y-
kidding?
yeah, for some reason, our videos down here are a little bit, subdued in views.
Yeah,
For some
please
reason,
get
yeah,
us
I don't know.
thousands
So,
and thousands of views.
yeah,
Don't let
please
me
get
know.
on and let's give this channel a bit of a boost.
Yes, yes, yes. We need to
Yeah,
do that for him, guys. So
yeah,
watch
and
all. You already joined, okay? Not only join, go watch all his channels because he has the inside track on other things, and he knows the royal family. So that's great. So please go watch all of his videos. We need to boost this video so every time you click the notification bell, so you're notified when our videos come out. Have Francis and mine. So you should be going to watch all of that. So yes, but anyways,
thank you,
I'm gonna.
thank you,
I'm not
Paula.
gonna take more of your time. We're gonna do another live some other time. Um,
Yes, and we promised, remember, we promised to do a live, inside Buckingham Palace. Okay.
yes, we need to do that. Oh my
So
goodness,
yes, so
you
I'm
are able.
planning. I'm planning that. I'm trying to speak to the people there, and because I have so many of my friends in there, I still go visit the guard rooms and have a bit of a catch up with the old mates who still work there, and so it's just a matter of arranging. So I would really like to do a live there and show you around the place where the
Oh,
garden
that'd be so much fun.
parties.
I would pee my pants. I would love to.
Yeah, where the garden parties take place, what happens in the royal household guard room.
Oh,
The
look at this, Francis. Your
Yeah,
notifications never come up for Francis' channel. Hmm.
yeah. So that's it's really ridiculous because most of my videos, when I put them up, people say they don't see them, and
I
and
don't. I don't. I don't either. And I have notification bell on your channel.
yes, so please, just visit manually sometimes and just search for Francis Page Media, and there you will be. And I do some lives nowadays with the lovely Catherine. I don't know if she's on here. I don't know if you know her, Paula. She's a very, very good royalist in
Oh, I've
Australia.
seen you. I've seen you with her. Yes, yes. She knows
Yes,
a lot. She's
yeah.
very, very good.
Arroyo Iliota, she's doing a lot of great work in Australia and in the build up for the King and Queen because they are due to visit Australia in October. She's doing a lot of groundwork in Australia to prepare for the arrival of the King and Queen in Australia. So we do lives every now and then on Francis Page Media. Come and join us and we
Yes,
have
yes,
some
and
of these
stay on top of
conversations.
that.
Yes, yes.
Stay on top of that.
But
And I am actually doing that. I'm actually watching your videos because I'm surprised. I go and for example, I saw that you have published 3 videos and I never got the notification, and I'm like,
yeah.
wait a minute, this is not right. This is not right, you know. So let's go right now, all of you guys, because you're more than 3,000 people. Go on there and watch the videos. And you know,
Yeah.
when you watch his videos, it tells YouTube that you like it, and therefore they're pushed more, so he gets more people to view it. Because the more people watch the video, the more, that's a free thing to do. You can do it's for free. Watch the video, and that tells YouTube, I like this video, and then YouTube posts to they post them out more. Okay.
Thank you so much, Paula. Thank you everybody for that has just subscribed now. I see your comments popping here and the support and love you have for the royal family. Paula, to you for flying the flag very high for the royal family across the pond and continuing to expose
You know,
these
I love the
two who
queen.
are
I love him. You know, I'm a
exactly.
monarchist. People don't understand that I am a monarchist. I do
Yes.
believe that the monarchy, when acting properly, it's a powerful tool. Look at the queen. You know, I
Yes.
always give an example that I think that the Chinese um, president and Putin would have, we would have world peace if the queen
Yeah.
had said, "I'm going to go to China." I mean,
Exactly.
Chinese
Exactly.
president would have
And
given anything.
those are the two presidents, who would happily accept an invitation to come and see the queen because she was so loved.
Respected.
And she had this aura around her that myself, I couldn't get enough of her, because we used to see her. She used to inspect us, the queen's birthday parades. She would be driven around the carriage and she's looking at us at just at that 50 centimeters away from us. So you would see her, and we always got very excited. We were always looking forward to the queen's birthday parades because we knew we were gonna have eyes on the queen.
Yeah.
She is the standards she set are,
So
I
high.
mean, very high, that King Charles has to step up into those big shoes and fill them up. And
Yeah.
Prince William and Catherine, I think in those two, we are going to have a superb future king and queen because William has been modeled and Catherine themselves were modeled by the queen herself. Catherine is a powerful force to reckon in the royal family, but she's very helpful, very supportive. The queen loved her so, so much. All these royal gatherings, at Sandringham, um, Holyrood, sometimes with those summer, summer meetups. When Catherine arrives, the queen is very happy. She's very respectful, Catherine is, of
Yeah.
the queen. So to have Catherine sit on that throne and William, I think we are going to be seeing Queen Elizabeth
Yeah.
through those two. And that is why we are fighting so hard right now to support King Charles through this reign. Because when King Charles stays, makes this transition smooth to William and Kate, because that's what we want, that transition, so that William, Kate can have the time to bring their children, because we know how this job is very demanding. Okay, so William is still young,
Yeah.
Catherine, they have young babies in George, Louis. So King Charles is playing a very vital role right now to support this transition here. And the only way we can support him is to constantly call out Meghan, Harry for their behavior, to try and protect the monarchy here from crumbling. Because those two, if they go ahead with those behaviors and their projects and campaigns, we are going to have a situation where people might start losing, interest in the royal
Royal
family.
family. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But for now, we still have hope because Catherine, William are there. Those two are very popular. We have King George, by the way, who is growing into a very young, kind, responsible young man, always standing up with his dad, I know, with that suit on. He's being very, very well trained. All the royal children, Louis, Charlotte, very, very adorable children. We want to see them become king and queen when their
Yes.
time comes. And we
Are
can
you?
only
Yeah,
do
that's awesome.
that right now by calling out these people who are trying to destroy that image and longevity
Longe-
of the royal family. Yes, how it is.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much to Francis. And Francis, we're going to do a live soon. And please go subscribe to his channel. And I want to thank you for coming here because I love you so very much. You know, you're such a lovely voice. You know, you're the voice of reason. So, so
Thank
lovely.
you.
So please go to his channel, watch all his videos. And thanks for coming, Francis.
You're welcome. And you know what? I've had to do the whole life holding the camera
Oh
because
my God, I'm so sorry.
this decided to blow out in the middle of it. So the phone poof fall out.
I'm so sorry. Okay, okay.
But
Thanks
that's
for
how passionate I am, being on
oh.
live with you and seeing our
Oh,
wonderful
thanks so
people
very
on this
much.
live.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna show him love back because his forearm must be sore. And go subscribe and watch the videos. We need you guys to watch
Please,
videos, okay, to make these videos go viral because they're a lot of fun.
please,
So thank you
please.
for being here, Francis.
You're welcome, Paul, and you for having me. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.